Hey everybody, it's Tyler here at Vextros. Checking with Vex2 team. It's Cal Poly Gear Slingers. This set of robots here has been absolutely phenomenal in their journey coming into Vextros here. 5 out of 5 events won, including that Purdue SIGBOTS event. They had some epic finals as well too. So we're really excited to talk about these two robots. Espot here, Leverbot there. We'll learn a bit more about the two different robots and their differences. Common chassis, but a lot of different stuff as they go upwards on the robot as well too. Some cool programming features you're going to learn about. So let's dive in more about this set of robots here on Pits and Parts. Garrett, let's talk about the chassis on these robots here, and also the match loaders are common as well too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So this season we went through about 6 different iterations of chassis early season on. We did different variations of wheel sizes as well as gears, and what we found worked best for us was 2.75 inch wheels with 450 RPM. A lot of VexU teams as well are running 10 motor drive, whereas we have found that 8 motor drive works good for us. We felt that 10 motor drive did not add much in terms of power, of pushing power compared to 8 motor drive. So we wanted to stick with less motors, which is less weight, as well as because we didn't notice much in the 10 motors, we figured 8 motors is fine. We also have these Odom pods here that are used for tracking, and Hunter will talk about that a little bit later. Another thing that we have on our robot that are both the same for both robots is our match loader here. So as you can see here, this is our match loader. We have a pretty wide match loader. They fold out pretty close to the edge of the robot. So what that allows us to do is that during skills, we can grab 4 blocks side by side when we're grabbing them over the park barrier. In addition to that, this is very heavy built, so we have 2 1/8-inch Delrin sheets here that are super strong, and it allows us to actually shovel under robots, which is very different from how a lot of other teams use their match loader. So when most teams use their match loader, they're only using it to load the blocks into their lever. But we will use it to shovel under robots to defend them and push them off of the long goals or the mid goal or anywhere we want to. And that doesn't count as pinning or anything like that, because we won't push them against walls. We'll only push them around the field. And they completely lose track of their driving, and it's super helpful. Throughout this season, we've pretty much stuck with the same drivetrain and same match loader, and everything else we've sort of swapped as we moved on throughout the season.
I'm glad to hear you're potentially preparing for combat robotics as well too in your future, so that's awesome. Before we get to our next segment, we'd like to thank the following. The Robotics Education and Competition Foundation provides fantastic programs for students from elementary school all the way through college. These include VEX, aerial drone competition, online challenges, JROTC, girl-powered, scholarships, certifications, and so much more. To discover these exciting opportunities, visit recf.org and get connected. Just let's talk about the green Espot here and everything else that has gone into it as we start to work our way up on this robot.
Yeah, of course. So starting out with the intake here, this has gone through quite a few iterations, but overall the structure has stayed the same. We have double chained, or it's supposed to be double chained, and we use the half cut flex wheels in the middle because they're more squishy. We're looking at custom wheels here, but the half cut ones seem to work fine. Overall transitions really well into our set of 2 rollers we have here. We got this green roller here and this much bigger 3-printed 4.5-inch roller here. They kind of transition really nicely. We have this back of zip ties here with a piece of latex tubing pulling it in, and we found this to work really well because it basically makes gives you the springiness of a rubber band with the friction of slippery zip ties, which is ultimately what you want for a S robot that can hold a whole bunch of blocks. Coming up here, we have a few more rollers. We got this little roller here and a little little roller here just to help push it that last little bit. Some adjustments we made later on after the initial design was we realized this whole structure wanted to move an extra 2 inches this way, and so that's where these come in to help with that. But yeah, transitions really easily can hold 8 or 9 blocks, yeah, the mid goal is really clever too. So what we do for that is intakes them all, kind of pushes them all up into here, but for the mid goal, we have this roller, and this red one here on the same motor, but these two spin opposite directions via these gears here. And so what's going to happen is when we spin them backwards, even though this one spins backwards, this one here has enough power to overcome that, and it can come out the mid goal. So if I demonstrate that, it very quickly scores a whole bunch out there. And the reason we went with so many rollers here is it gives us a huge amount of power scoring the mid goal. We actually have to slow it down because it was flying all the way through the mid goal. Same with the long goal. We can get all the way to the control zone initially with no need to do our wings. Now, just real quick, how does it keep the blocks like up here from flying out the back? We use, Hunter will talk about this more, but we use a sensor here to keep track of where the blocks are, but also we have a pneumatic here to pull down the hood. And so normally when we intake, this hood right here is it's held down by this, but when we score, this goes up and spins the rollers, and so it just like that scores really, really fast. Again, empty the whole thing in like a second. Other unique thing about a robot is we have two wings on opposite sides. Some people have two wings the same side. I've found that it's a lot of fun to drive a robot with two wings opposite sides, and it works really, really well. That's how we were able to win the Purdue competition. We've modified it to use high-strength shaft with the standoff at the end is bent to keep it in size box. So this stretches all the way to 24 inches. We got these Delrin aligners here that help keep us straight. We also have this D-score for the mid-goal. The Leverbot has a unique mechanism we'll talk about later, but this is how the Espot D-scores the mid-goal. You just ram into this and all the blocks go flying out.
We talked about earlier that your team has gone through so many different iterations of robots this year so far. Coming in the Vex worlds, for this robot specifically, were there any big iterations that were made?
Yeah, this is the first time we've actually run an Espot at a competition. Before this, for the rest of the season, we'd be running a Rigwan, which is just like a straight conveyor. But we found the capacity and the single wide conveyor was really, really valuable because single wide means you can score on the low goal a lot better. You don't have to worry about funneling. You can just score immediately and empty your whole conveyor super, super fast. Now, Rigwan, you need like all kinds of fancy funneling. I spent way too long trying to get that to work. But we ran that for most of the season, won Purdue with it. It was really good. We actually convinced UCF to rebuild to Rigwan. But yeah, so we really like the Espot, and I'm happy we switched to it.
Talking about another great type of robot, let's talk about the Leverbot, Chris, and what's gone into this. Espots, Leverbots, these are metas that we've seen in the V5 competition as well too, but in Vexy you get to kind of make it even more as well. So talk to me more about the composition of it.
So going into strategy a little bit, Joseph has the Espot to do some endgame tactics with filling up and scoring a bunch of blocks. And then my main job is to keep the middle goals and keep swinging them back and forth, and then ultimately keeping them up until endgame and playing a lot of defense, which is where also the match loader comes into play. And a big advantage we saw when building our Leverbot for the middle goal, specifically the low goal, was when we outtake here, the blocks are kind of falling from the top instead of out from the bottom on Joseph's spot. And that's really advantageous for the low goal because it just plops down and it allows me to score from a bigger radius on the low goal. So when I'm being defended, I can be pushed around, circled around the low goal while also being able to get that control zone back. And then as for the middle goal, we have two pistons here on the lever, on the 4-bar. These are 50mm pistons, so we got the correct geometry. And then what this allows us to do is score in the middle goal, obviously. We've got a passive hood here that's just banded that keeps all our blocks in. And then the unique thing about our lever here is that our wing comes down with the 4-bar, and then I can just toggle it with the wing here. And what that allows me to do is D-score and claim the middle goal a lot faster, or just plop out one of their blocks to get them 3 less points or get the control zone back. And that's really useful for strategy and getting it back early in a match, which puts you basically a cycle ahead and you can get some blocks and then you're just ahead.
Coming into the Vex Worlds here, we're filming this before qualification matches have started, but have you modified your strategy at all from maybe Purdue Sigbots coming into Vex Worlds? We've
slightly modified it, but it was pretty refined at Purdue. Joseph still was like the main person scoring the long goal, and then I kept the middle. And I just kept doing the long goal when I had the chance to, because it's kind of a distraction. Because my main focus is keeping the middle, and when I have those two, and I know I can trust Joseph with the long goal, I know we're up. So when I kind of set the long goal, it's more of a distraction for them, and they spend more time on that. And the middle is really easy with this robot designed to swing.
That's why I put the shiny reflective stickers on there too, right?
Yeah.
Distract a little bit more. Hunter, let's talk about programming on this these sensor robots here. We were talking earlier, some different sensors they're utilizing for some stops, and I'm sure some other great things that go into this robot too.
Yes, of course. So, here, can you take? So, underneath our robot, we have 2 tracking wheels with encoders. These are just standard for odometry to keep track of the robot as it moves across the field. Behind the robot, we have the inertial sensor. This is keeping track of the robot's orientation, and combined with the odometry, we can track the robot across the field and use PID to get to specific points. Now, of course, this does tend to accumulate error over time. So on the sides of the robot, we have these distance sensors. We've got one on the left, front, and one on the right. And this allows us to reset the system using the distances compared to the wall and reset the odometry system. Now, like Joseph covered a little bit, we have a sensor right up here at the top of our intake. And what this does is when the intake runs, it stops these rollers as soon as it gets seen. And it can also be used for color filtering. But what this does is it prevents any of the game elements from shooting out of the top when we don't want them to. Now, we have a lot of driver assist features. So just for example, when choosing an auto selector, it can just be cycled through with the arrow keys. And after it calibrates and everything, there's a lot of features like you said. Like this one. And there's this one button, which it does 2 movements. And if it were lined up with the long goal in that scenario, it would automatically line up the wings for descoring. So at the press of a button, the driver can easily line up to descore everything in the long goal.
Cal Poly Gear Slingers, thank you so much for taking the time. Tell us more about all these sets of machines. We wish you best of luck here at Vexros. Hopefully continue that 5 out of 5, hopefully 6 out of 6 streak now with this set of teams as well too. So best of luck the rest of the way, and good luck here at Vexworlds. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date on future fun videos. The Robotics Education and Competition Foundation provides fantastic programs for students from elementary school all the way through college. These include VEX, aerial drone competition, online challenges, JROTC, girl-powered, scholarships, certifications, and so much more. To discover these exciting opportunities, visit recf.org and get connected.